Yeah, so look at this. Yeah, look. Hello viewers, welcome to Keith's Auto and Truck Repair. Today we have a 2012 VW Jetta with a 2.0 liter engine. The customer complaint on this vehicle is the check engine light remains on the dash while the engine is running. And I have my friend here, Robin, with me.
Yes, sir.
Robin, you're ready to work on this vehicle?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Okay, so Robin is gonna be doing the diagnosis with me. We're gonna do this together and then we'll see what we're gonna find. So when we drove the vehicle in the shop, the check engine light was remaining on. And then last week when the customer dropped off the vehicle, he told me that the glow plug light is flashing on the dash. So let's see what we're gonna find. Now, before we go in the vehicle and confirm the customer's complaint, I wanna give a shout out to our cameraman Matt. Thanks for being here. So now let's go in the vehicle so we can confirm the customer's complaint. So as you can hear, the engine is running and the check engine light is on the dash. So that's customer's complaint confirmed.
I don't see it.
Check engine light is not on?
No,
Oh, check engine light went off by itself?
by itself.
That's odd.
Well, when I was coming in,
It was on?
it was on.
Okay.
So when I drove the car in,
Yeah.
the checking light
Check
was
engine
on.
Yeah. And
now,
even last week when I left, because I parked it over there last week, the check engine light was on. So for some reason right now the check engine light is off.
Right.
But I'm sure we're gonna have a code
Yes.
in the engine computer. So cameraman Matt asked me, he said, there's no check engine light on the dash. So check engine light went off by itself. How many miles on the car?
it's 117,741.
Oh, it's okay, 117. All right, so now let's turn off the vehicle. We have the scan tool connected to the car. Let's turn the key on. I'm gonna grab the scan tool. Let's see if we have any codes in the engine computer.
All right.
All right, so we have the scan tool connected to the vehicle. Let's scan the engine computer and hopefully we're gonna have hopefully we're gonna have a pending code or history code in the engine computer. So Robin, take a guess. What do you think the code is gonna be?
Probably a glow plug.
Glow
If it was
plug,
flashing, if it was flashing when the customer was driving and it's going off and on, probably because it's been turned off.
Yeah.
I mean, I would start and run it. It'll come back on off after about miles or two. It'll probably come back on.
Okay. So, Robin's guess is probably a glow plug code. So let's see. Okay, so
That's
let's
my
do a
guess.
code scan. We're gonna scan all the control units on the vehicle and see what we got. Now, cameraman Matt is going to put the screen up. The scan tool screen up on the screen so you guys can see. So we have one code. Look at the code we have.
Oh no!
You were wrong, buddy.
I'm wrong.
That's okay.
It's all right.
I'm wrong. There are times where I'm wrong too. So the code we have is 01592. It says throttle body actuator bank 1.
Oh wow!
J338 implausible signal P0638 intermittent. So this is very self-explanatory. It looks like our throttle body is intermittently not opening and closing. Okay, so this can be caused by a defective throttle body itself or a problem in the throttle body wiring. So how should we go about this, Robin?
We should run some diagnostic tests and test some more and don't guess.
Okay, test and don't guess.
Yes.
I like that. So what I would do is, since getting to the throttle is pretty easy here, cameraman Matt will come here under the hood. We're gonna show you what we're gonna do. So what I would do, with this code is we can use a lab scope and then back probe all our wires on the throttle body.
Great idea.
And then we can use our bidirectional controls on the scan tool to turn the throttle body on and off to see if the throttle body is gonna open and close smoothly as we're turning it on and off with the scan tool.
I think you should use the scan tool first and do activation test. That'll be easier. Then you can
Do the but I do the. For me, it's kind of like killing two birds with one stone. Yeah. Because if I already connect the lab scope and I'm turning the throttle on and off,
Right.
and I see all my voltages are there at the connector,
Yeah.
that already tells me the wiring is good.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So at that point, I would be like, you know,
Waste of your
it's
time.
not a wiring issue.
No.
It has to be the electric motor itself
Right.
on the throttle, and then
Yeah,
that's
see that.
just for speed. But
Yes, right.
you know, so now on the generic side of the tool, we have the same code P06. So right here, Robin, P0638.
Right.
Throttle actuator
Okay,
control
control
range / performance bank 1. So we have a performance code, which means
It's not
sometimes
moving.
it's working, sometimes it's not, or maybe sometimes it's sticking, which could be caused by the throttle itself. But we're not just going to replace the throttle.
No.
We got to check the wiring first and make sure everything is working properly. So now what I'm going to do is let's go into the engine computer. Let's see if we have some bidirectional controls
Absolutely.
in the engine computer that's going to allow us to open and close the throttle plate. So let's go to functional test, actuator test.
Let me come on this side and see.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the VW, on VWs, they have this like sequential, I hate this. Like it doesn't give you one test individually. They do it one at a time. So we just have to go next until we find it. So this is EGR.
you control security system.
So let's go to intake flaps, solenoid A. So throttle circuit for throttle body module. I can hear it.
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it.
I hear the throttle body, but the question is it moving?
That's the truth.
Maybe
Probably
it's
just-
not.
Just
Okay.
jump.
So here's what we're gonna do. Let's stop this test. Okay. I like using the scope on the Snap-on scan tool. I'm gonna connect my Autel scan tool to the vehicle,
Okay.
and then we're gonna use our lab scope on the
Snap on.
Snap-on one. We're gonna back probe the wires
Okay.
at the throttle electrical connector, and then we're gonna turn on the throttle body. We're gonna disconnect the tube down here on the throttle body. So we're
Yes.
gonna watch the plate, and we're also gonna watch the voltages on the lab scope
Okay.
screen.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds
So
good.
I'm gonna grab my Autel scan tool. I will connect it to the vehicle, and then I'll bring you guys back up. Okay. So now we're gonna get access to the throttle body. So Robin is gonna go ahead and remove the engine cover. If you can go ahead and remove the engine cover. So right there. So cameraman Matt, if you can focus on this area here. So this is our throttle body. This is the EGR valve. So we're gonna get access to the wires at the throttle body. But what I wanna do is I want Robin to undo this clamp over here so he can disconnect this inlet tube to the throttle body. And then he's gonna undo the throttle body bolt. I kind of want to lift the throttle body up like this so we can see the plate.
Okay.
And then we're going to connect to the wires to see if the plate is going to close when we turn it on. So,
All right.
Robin, if you can go ahead and remove the throttle body. We're trying to disconnect this tube over here, this inlet hose. So I would just push it out of the way like this. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, just push it out of the way, and then we're gonna undo this 10 mil, and then you're gonna undo. I think these are four or 5 millimeter. They're actually Allen. I believe there's a bracket down there.
Yeah, there is.
There?
There is a bracket,
So you're removing the bracket?
Yeah,
Okay.
so now I need to take my tool up.
Okay. Yeah.
Keep my
This
magnet.
removing this throttle body, I mean, especially the bottom bolts, can be very tedious.
It is.
Okay. I remember. I think last year I replaced the EGR valve on this exact same engine, and it was removing those bottom bolts can be very painful. So let's see what Robin is up to.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this last bolt out.
Okay.
Bolt is out. Sliding throttle body out now.
Nice. Is that wire long enough? Okay, perfect. So here's the throttle body.
Oh my goodness.
look how much carbon we have on the throttle. Yeah, this is what I wanted to do. You see how much carbon we have on the throttle body? Now the question is the flap opening and closing? So
Yes.
now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get access to the throttle wiring. Let me disconnect it. Okay, so all this carbon here can cause the throttle plate to stick. So now what we're gonna do is, can you give me some sharp towels? Let's block this
Absolutely.
opening. So I'm gonna undo this cover. We're gonna get access to the
Here.
wiring. Okay, so I'm gonna open up this cover. Just like that. Okay, so how many wires do we have here? We have 4 wires. Okay, so if you can, I don't know if the camera is gonna pick this up. We have 3 kind of heavy gauge wires, and then we have a small wire here. So the heavy gauge wires will be for the electric motor, and then the small wire will be the signal for the position sensor inside the throttle motor assembly. So now I'm going to grab my back probing tool. So we're going to back probe all these wires. Let me get a new glove. So at this point, after we back probe all those wires, if we have voltage at all the wires, that will tell me that the wiring is good. And then when we turn on the throttle plate with the scan tool, the throttle plate should open and close. If it doesn't, then at that point we can go ahead and replace the throttle body. Okay, so here is our lab scope. We're gonna use our snap-on lab scope.
Can you see there?
Yeah,
There's carbon.
yeah. We might have to remove it and clean it.
Yes, there's carbon buildup up in there.
Yeah. So I don't know if cameraman Matt got that on camera. So Rabin was just showing me how much carbon we have in the EGR valve assembly. I don't know if you can see on that mirror there. So there's a lot of carbon built up on the EGR assembly. Actually, should we remove it first
Yes.
before we test the wiring of the
Yes.
throttle body?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's remove the EGR valve. We're gonna remove it and clean it. But before we clean it, we're probably not gonna show you the process of cleaning it on camera. We just wanna show you how dirty it is.
Okay.
And then we'll clean it off camera. So Robin, if you can get the tools,
All right.
let's remove the EGR valve.
So I'm removing these bolts right now. Okay. Now remove the. So we got removing the front one. Hope we get lucky with the backs. A little bit of fun.
This will be the fun one.
Yeah.
So we can't really see the third bolt.
No, there's no. So I just gotta look with the mirror and see if I've seen it. Not yet. Not yet. Still on hold. Let's see. Oh, there's no bolt.
Oh, okay.
There's no bolt.
So there was just 2.
There's 2 bolts.
Okay.
So once I take it out, then there's a bunch of
Okay.
a bunch of carbon built
You
up.
see
here.
how much carbon we have built up in there? Oops, right there. Yeah, look how much carbon we have built up in the EGR valve. Now, before we remove the EGR valve, let's test the wiring of the throttle body first, because we're doing all of this because we have a throttle body code, right? So let's make sure the wiring is good. And then if the wiring of the throttle body is good, I mean, I'm leaning towards a defective throttle body. We're also gonna remove the EGR valve, but I don't wanna disconnect the electrical connector of the EGR valve yet, because when we do the test, if that EGR valve electrical connector is disconnected, the computer may not open the throttle body. So now I'm gonna grab my scope. Let me get the screen recorder going here. So now I am going to, we're gonna ground our scope first.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna ground our scope. We're gonna ground it at Bowery ground. So I'm sure. I don't know these tools. Okay. I'm sure my man Bernie Thompson is gonna be happy to see this. So we're gonna ground our scope at Bowery ground. So now I am going to use this first test lead. We're gonna connect our back probing tool to it. And then if cameraman Matt can come here. So we're going to back probe the first wire. We're gonna back probe the brown wire. So we back probed the first wire, which is the brown wire. And then we're gonna back probe the second wire, which is the blue wire. It looks like blue with a red tracer. Now I haven't looked at the wiring diagram yet, so I don't know what wire is what, but
So can you tell the difference by looking at the size of the wires? Because they look slightly different in the size.
yes, I can. That's a good question. So
Okay.
based on the gauge of the wire, I can tell if it's a wire that carries a lot of current or not.
Okay.
Because a throttle body is an electric motor, right? The throttle plate is opened and closed by an electric motor. So you have two wires
Okay.
that supply power and ground
Right.
to the electric motor, and then the computer flips the polarity on the wires to cause the plate to close, to go the other direction.
Right.
And then the other wire will be a ground for the position sensor, because inside the throttle body assembly, you
Right.
also have besides the wires for the motor, you also have the wires for the position sensor. So you have the ground and then the signal
All right.
that tells the engine computer if the throttle plate actually opened. So right now we back probed all the wires at the throttle body. So
right.
now what I'm gonna do is I am going to reconnect the electrical connector of the throttle body. Okay, just like that. Now we're gonna go to our lab scope. We're gonna turn on all the channels on the lab scope. The key is off right now.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go in the vehicle and turn the key on.
Okay. Move.
So the key is on right now.
Did have some
So
movements.
we have control on the lab scope screen. So on the red trace, we have some type of control on the red trace, and then we have about 12 volts, 12.08 volts on the green trace, and then 11.85 volt on the blue trace. Okay, so this over here already tells me that the wiring of the throttle body is good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my RTL scan tool. We're gonna turn on the throttle plate. We're gonna open and close it while we're gonna be watching the voltages on the lab scope screen and then the throttle plate on the actual throttle body itself. All right, so the scan tool is done scanning all the control units. We're gonna go into the engine computer. Now I'm gonna erase the code that we have in the engine computer because the engine computer may not turn on the throttle body. I mean, may not open and close the throttle plate with this code being set.
Okay.
So let's clear it and see what happens. So code is deleted. Let's go to active test. We're gonna keep going next until we get to the throttle body. Oh, right here. Throttle valve module activation. All right there, it closed.
All right.
Opened. Okay, so you guys will see the command we have on the lab scope. So the throttle body is opening and closing, and our command is there. Watch the lab scope. You see how our command is changing? See that? So closed,
Open.
open. You see that?
Yeah.
So that tells me that the wiring of the throttle body is good. The computer is controlling the throttle body.
Yes.
But the question is, what about if this throttle body is failing intermittently?
That's what it is.
You know, we could clean it and put it back together, but I'm not gonna risk it. I mean, I would prefer to replace it.
Right.
Let's clean the EGR valve and replace the throttle body because it could be failing intermittently. I just don't want to clean it and give the vehicle back to the customer and have a customer that comes back 2 weeks from now with the same issue.
Would it be like motors going by inside of it?
Yeah.
Sounds.
It sounds funny though. It doesn't sound
It's-
not
yeah.
something like.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because the gears in the throttle motor could be binding.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So we are done. Okay. We are done. What do you think, Robin?
I think we should just change the throttle body.
We should change the throttle
Yes,
body?
because you don't want to risk it.
Yeah. So you guys will see all the screen recordings when cameraman Matt does his magic in the edit. You're gonna see, you're gonna see the lab scope screen. You're gonna see when I'm turning on the throttle body with the scan tool. So the fact that the throttle body can open and close, that I mean. I don't want to sound too repetitive because you guys say I tend to repeat myself.
What's the emphasis?
I mean, yeah,
Emphasis.
I guess I'm emphasizing this because the wiring is good. Okay, we can already rule out, any potential wiring issue. We don't
Yes.
have a wiring problem, but remember we had a performance code.
Yes.
So maybe the throttle body could be failing intermittently. Maybe there are times where it doesn't open and close fast enough.
Right.
And
right.
knowing that it's kind of making a weird
weird
noise.
sound.
So we're gonna go ahead and replace the throttle body. We're gonna clean the EGR valve.
Yes.
And then we should be good to go. So now, if Robin, if you can go ahead and disconnect the throttle body and disconnect the EGR valve, let's show everybody the EGR valve. And then we will clean it off camera.
Just gently pull it back. Throttle body's off. And I gotta get a pick to release the.
Yeah, so look at this. Yeah, look. Look how much carbon we have built up on this throttle.
So now I'm gonna get a pick to remove this valve here. Very gently. All right, here we go. It's off, and it's all the beautiful carbon. That's it.
Yeah, look how much carbon we have. Ooh. Oops.
There's a lot of carbon build up in this one. So I'm digging it apart, a lot of build up carbon. Gotta polish this properly. So
Oh yeah.
gently.
Look at a lot of carbon. Look how much carbon we have on Robin's hand. Yeah, that stuff is not good. Look,
Oh, we got more.
there's more. Yeah. All right, guys. So here's what we're going to do. We're gonna clean this very well off camera. I'm gonna get a brand new throttle body from the dealership. We're gonna get an OEM throttle body. We're also gonna clean as much as we can on the intake side. And then once we get a new throttle body, we're gonna show you the new throttle body and then we're gonna put everything back together off camera. I don't think we have to show the installation process. It's basically the reverse process of the removal process, okay? So we're gonna clean this very well. I will show you the new throttle once I get it from the VW dealership and then we'll continue from there. So what do you think?
Gonna work fine.
It's gonna work fine?
Yep.
Yeah, we should do that?
One happy
Okay.
customer.
Okay, we're gonna have another happy customer.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right, so we're gonna get a new throttle and then we will bring you guys back up. A couple of minutes later, we got our brand new throttle body assembly from our VW dealership. Here's the part number. If cameraman Matt can show you this number. So let me get our brand new throttle body assembly out of the box. So look how nice and shiny it is. I gotta open the bag. All right, so this is our brand new throttle body assembly from VW. This is the old one. Okay. Old unit, new unit. And then this over here is our EGR valve. So we cleaned this EGR valve as much as we could. Okay, so this is as clean as we could get it. Now, so at this point, we're going to install this new throttle body assembly. Once we install it, this should be good to go. But there's one more thing I want to do before Robin puts everything back together. What I want to do now is I want to connect the electrical connector of the throttle body to this new throttle. We're going to turn it on to see if we're still going to hear the clicking noise that we heard from the old throttle body. So I'm going to get the electrical connector connected to this new one, and then I'll bring you guys back up to see what we're going to find. So we're going to check the new one really fast. If cameraman Matt can focus on our new throttle plate.
What's the other one?
The other one?
Yes.
The sequential active test.
Sequencing. Start.
Okay, so right here.
All right.
Now, I don't know if you can tell the difference. There's no clicking sound.
Go ahead.
The throttle bar is opening and closing, but
Very
it's not
fast.
making that clicking sound.
And it's faster too.
It's
The
faster?
Yeah, reaction time is really faster. Go ahead.
So this one is closing faster.
Yep.
And you guys will see the control on the lab scope when Matt puts it up. I don't know if I should put my mic down here. Okay, so we are done. Okay, with the new one, we noticed that the throttle plate is opening and closing faster.
Yes, reaction very faster.
And then it's not making the clicking noise
No, it's not.
that this one was making. Okay, so we made the right call. I'm sure after we put everything back together, we test drive this. What are we gonna have?
A happy customer.
Another happy customer. Okay, so Robin is gonna put everything back together. We don't have to film the process of putting everything back together. Once Robin finishes putting everything back together, we will bring you guys back up so we can go on a test drive. And after that, we're gonna wrap up this video. So Robin, you up?
All right, man. No
All
problem.
right, so we'll bring you guys back up. All right, so Robin has put everything back together. Before he puts the engine cover back on, we're gonna show you what he did. So cameraman Matt, if you can show this brand new throttle body. Okay, so the throttle body is installed. The EGR valve is cleaned, so we're good to go. So Robin, you can put the engine cover back on.
Okay. Let's put that together.
All right. So now let's take this vehicle for a test drive and see what we're gonna find. Now, before we go on a test drive, I am going to see if we have any codes in the engine computer. We're gonna clear any codes that we might have, and then we're gonna go on a test drive. So right there, the scan tool has identified the vehicle. Let's go straight to the engine computer. Let's see if we have any codes here. Okay, so we have a bunch of codes here. Now, these codes are set in the engine computer because we had the EGR valve disconnected and all these things. So we set all these codes. Okay. So I'm gonna clear them. We shouldn't have a code right now. So we got zero codes present. Okay, so now
Start up.
let's go for a spin. We don't need to go far. We're just gonna go up the road.
You want to use the computer on a live data to see what?
No, because we were doing the throttle. We were checking the throttle valve.
Right.
We no need. I mean, we don't need to.
These are some good cars.
The Altima.
Yeah.
Yeah, Altima is a good cars. Today is such a crappy day.
It's a little bit nippy now.
It's a wet day. It's cold. Cameraman Matt is crying. It's too cold. He showed up to work with shorts.
He's the boss.
Oh,
He's the
Matt.
boss.
Cameraman Matt.
In this weather. This weather.
Well, so far so good. I like how the vehicle is driving. I'm sure the glow plug light is not gonna flash anymore. Yeah, it was just a bad throttle body. I'm sure it was probably sticking.
Yeah,
Yeah, intermittently.
You know what I was saying to myself? Actually, if you that thing, if you could take it apart, the trucker body, and see
Look inside.
what's going on inside of it,
We could.
or there's a core charge, and it's a
Yeah, there's a core charge on the throttle body. So yeah, because I gotta send the old one to the dealer.
Right.
We gotta get some money back.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna have another happy customer.
Yep.
I remember last week, Kyler and I were driving. We were driving a Range Rover. We got to this point up here. The Range Rover started overheating, and we had to stop. I told Kyler, I was like, Kyler, are you gonna walk back to the shop? He was like, what? I don't want to walk. This is good to go. Actually, let's stop here. Let's grab our scan tool. Let's see if we have a code that came back. Cameraman Matt will put this up on the screen so you guys can see. No codes present, so that's good. Let's go to data. Let's see if we have some throttle body data PIDs that we can look at. Okay, so we have some throttle body data PIDs on the scan tool for you guys to see. I don't know if the throttle body is even gonna get actuated. Oh, right there while we're driving. We could have looked at these PIDs on the older when the old throttle was in the vehicle to see if there was gonna be a difference.
Right.
But that's fine. Next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. I like how the vehicle is driving. It's fixed. We're good.
Guess we have one more happy customer.
Yeah. We're gonna have another happy customer. That's good.
Yes, sir.
So cameraman Matt will keep these data PIDs on the screen for you guys. Although we did not see the PIDs from the old one, but since we had a performance code, I'm very familiar with this code. Usually it's the throttle that causes that. I mean, over time, these throttles start to fail intermittently. So we are back at the shop. This is fixed. Okay, let me grab the scan tool. I'm gonna scan the engine computer one more time. Okay, so we got no codes present. So now I'm gonna turn off the engine. Let's go outside so we can wrap up this video. All right, guys, that's it. We are back at the shop. This VW is fixed. What do you think, Robin?
Good job.
You think it's fixed?
Yeah, man.
No, good job to you. Okay. So this was good. This was a quick and easy one. I'm sure we're gonna have another happy customer. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give it a thumb down. But if you do, tell us why so we can make better videos in the future. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, I don't know if I did this at the beginning of the video, I want to give a shout out to the owner of this vehicle, who is one of my friends. He also watches our video, Chris. So Chris, thank you for bringing business to us. Cameraman Matt, thanks for being here. What do you think, Matt? You think this is fixed? Yeah? Okay, perfect. What do you think?
Fix.
We're good?
Yep. Happy customer.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. See you guys next time.